Hello and welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. Today I'm going to be looking at some of the tools we have for color adjustment, and in particular I'm going to be focusing on the color balance, which you can hit by going to color balance through the menu or Apple B. Pardon me. Okay, so what we have here is we have our three RGB channels, red, green and blue, and we can push them back and forward. So also we can control whether this pushes on highlights, midtones or shadows. So let's just click shadows and say I want to boost some of my greens in the shadows. I can go ahead and do this. And this just gives us a nice well-rounded color correction option. So you can see before and after by just ticking this preview box. Okay, so I like that the way it is. Now, this was already a pretty good image, but say we just want to go ahead and just adjust the contrast a little bit. What we can do is we can go ahead and add a levels. Should cancel that. I'm not going to go with levels for this one. I'm going to go with the curves. Okay, so what we can do here is we can just draw into here what's called an S-curve. Down there and up there, and you see very quickly we can change the grit and just the whole mood of the image can change. So we've got a before and an after. So I'm going to stick with that now because it will be useful for the next tutorial. But just to show you another of the tools we have, if we go to again image adjustments, vibrance, we get this little box. And this is just going to allow us to very subtly do a little bit more. And this is really going to control some of the saturation values with the image. It's one of the ways of doing this. So if we wanted to kind of oversaturate it, we could. If we wanted to really alter the kind of just the general color tone of the image, this is kind of the place to do it. So again, I'm just going to click OK there. So what I did before starting this tutorial is I just duplicated my layer. So I can go forward and backwards, and we can really see what quite a drastic change just some of those simple things made to the image. But once we've got this, what do we do if we say we like what this effect is doing to just one of our leaves here, and we want every other leaf to not have these corrections, and say we isolate the area that we want as this area to have the correction. Or this isn't the best image to use as an example for this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. What we can do is we can just go ahead And you could use a layer mask for this, but I really don't feel it's necessary. I'm just going to duplicate this layer again, and I'm just going to turn that layer off. So that's right on the top. And I'm just going to take my rubber tool, and I'm going to size it up a little bit. This is a really basic Photoshop technique that really I think everybody should know. And I'm just going to bring the hardness right down to 0. So I can just start brushing in back that original data. So I can then make very, very complicated color adjustments that aren't the same, pardon me, for every part of the image. So I can go ahead and just take that color back to where it was before here. I could go ahead and do the same for this leaf over here. And you can see this really allows us just to simply paint with the color. It's really good. Another way of using this kind of technique would be to add another layer. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer. And I'm just going to choose a red, because we're going to color in one of our leaves red here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my brush size up a little bit again, and I'm just going to paint this red on. And it doesn't look too good now, but I'm just going to go over here, and I'm just going to go through my color nodes, and I think a multipliers are nice. So I'm just going to go ahead, and yeah, my hardness is set down to 1, or 0 rather, and I'm just going to bring my brush size up a little bit actually. Not quite as big as before, but I can just go ahead and I can color in any of these leaves, any color I want, while leaving some of the contrast data intact. So I can go ahead and I can make pretty much anything, any color I want, really, and that's nice. We could go ahead and do a little bit more around here. And then I could just switch my color up and say I want to make some kind of light bluey almost leaves. I could go ahead and take this leaf here, and I could alter its color in precisely the same way. Now this is working very well on this image because things are separated with like shadows and highlights, which it always helps for this form of technique, because the black data, if I paint here over the black data, it's just going to suck all of that up. But over here on the lighter data, it's going to have the greatest influence. So if I go ahead and paint on the white, it's almost ugly. But I can go ahead and undo that, and just, yeah, this is a really good technique to know. And of course, if you want to go in before and after, you can always turn that layer on and off. So I can see that right here around there, I didn't really do that so well. So I can always just go ahead and just to a red again. And I can just carry on painting in a similar shade. A bit of eyedrop with that data out. or I could have indeed gone ahead and made a swatch for it. But yeah, this is how to do complex color correction tasks in Photoshop CS6. Thank you for watching. Please comment, rate and subscribe.